Want to go to Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon right now. There were additional attacks on U.S. soldiers. In case you're keeping track, I believe this is around the 20th we've seen in just the last couple of weeks. Jennifer, what can you tell us?
Well, Neil, as the Middle East stands on the precipice of a massive ground invasion by the Israeli military into Gaza, that we're told could last months and could trigger a reaction from Hezbollah in the north and other Iranian proxies who will try to test the U.S. military across the region, tying the U.S. back down in the Middle East. It's important to look at who benefits right now from the actions of Iran and Hamas. It's not the Palestinians. It's not even Tehran. It's someone who we are no longer talking about every hour on the news, Russian President Vladimir Putin. It's no coincidence that top Hamas leaders, including its founder, made their way for meetings with Putin in Moscow yesterday. Putin's forces in Ukraine are experiencing heavy losses, so much so that Moscow has had to rely on Iranian drones for any success on the battlefield. We were the first on the air last night to report that a pair of U.S. F-16s had finally responded to 10 days of attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria, bombing 2 Iranian proxy facilities in southeastern Syria near the town of Abu Kamal on the border with Iraq. One, an IRGC, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, weapons depot, and one, an ammunition storage site. A senior U.S. defense official tells Fox there were no casualties at one of the sites. They're still assessing bomb damage at the other. The Pentagon went out of its way, they tell us, to make sure Iranian forces were not at the facilities they targeted. This target was about as low on the escalation ladder as one can get, designed to send a message to Iran not to continue testing U.S. resolve by expanding the conflict. It's not clear that they got the message. Iranian proxies launched a drone at U.S. forces at Al-Assad base in Iraq today, which was intercepted and caused no damage. It was the 20th attack on U.S. bases since October 17th, and the first since the U.S. carried out that pair of airstrikes in Syria last night. There are 900 U.S. troops in Syria tonight at small bases, Neil, part of the anti-ISIS mission, preventing about 50,000 ISIS-affiliated men, women, and children currently being guarded at the Al-Hol refugee camp in Syria from being released, giving ISIS a fresh start in the Middle East. Those U.S. troops are in harm's way tonight, part of this Iran proxy war. Neil?
And just to be clear, and you can help me with this, Jennifer, these attacks focused on Syria for the time being.
The U.S. airstrikes focused on Syria. One of the reasons for that, I'm told, is that the U.S. does not want to destabilize the government in Iraq. If the U.S. starts carrying out airstrikes in Iraq, that government could fall, and then you could see a return to a Shia crescent, if you will, from Iran all the way to Lebanon. And that's something the U.S. is very cognizant of, even though most of the attacks on U.S. forces have been inside Iraq. Neil?
Got it. Jennifer, thank you. Great reporting as always, my friend.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.